everyone, hope everyone's doing well. I'm so glad to be back on today because I've been meaning to film for like the longest time ever. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about how I cured my depression. If you guys um, don't remember or weren't around when I started this channel was mainly about my mental health struggles when I was going through trying to leave one career for the other and didn't know how to do that. And it's so surprising to me, or kind of shocking, that I am where I am right now because there was a time in my life or during that journey that I never thought it was going to end. I thought that I was going to be depressed for the rest of my life. And before we move further, I do want to also acknowledge that it got so bad that I did get diagnosed with depression and anxiety. It's funny because when I was basically using downers to calm down the anxiety that I was feeling, it actually made me feel worse. And I really think that there should be alternative treatment as to how we can deal with mental health issues, especially depression. I feel like each person has their own struggle or something that they can't work through. So it needs to be like case by case basis versus having like a general um, remedy for everyone who is going through a bit of a depressing like period in their lives. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me know. So yeah, so I'm gonna talk about three things that I think I did that kind of cured me or helped me to manage kind of like that depressive state a bit better. So the first thing is definitely money. Like if you are depressed and you also don't have money, it makes everything 10 times worse. But the reason why I didn't have money was because of the fact that I was moving from one career to the other, and I just didn't have a helping hand or guidance on how to do that. Looking back now, I wish I hired a coach way earlier in my life, not to help me with my depression, but to help me like make executive decisions. I think when you're depressed, you just also experience decision fatigue, and that makes everything slower because the more you don't make decisions, the more nothing changes. So I think I'm so glad that I got a coach later on, but I wish that I got one almost immediately when I was feeling that, because I needed to have someone who physically was helping me dig myself out of the hole that I was descending into. So right now, I wouldn't say things are great financially, but they are 10 times better than what they used to be. So right at I would say at the worst time of my depression, I actually signed a client to do LinkedIn management for. And it's funny because I spent a lot of money to go to her office. She was in Branston and I was at home in Pumalang at the time. And she asked me to come in for a face-to-face meeting. This was before COVID. And my mom and I spent a lot of money on that trip, only for me to severely undercharge myself, like when I first started working with her. And I think I worked at that undercharge rate for over a year. So I think what helped me kind of like get courage to ask for more was the fact that I got more confident in my skill set and more confident in myself. And I think part of the reason was the fact that I woke up looking forward to doing something that didn't crush my soul every day. So yeah, also if you knew, I had a corporate career before all of this happened. So yeah, I was just really unhappy being an accountant. It just didn't light me up or nurture me. And I feel like we all need that because life is long. Okay. Second thing that helped was actually actively finding things that I could do with my time, because I don't know how you feel, but it physically bothers you if you know that you're smart, you know that you are capable, you know that you are all these things, but there's nothing for you to do when you wake up every single day. And trust me, I did go through the whole process of applying for a new job. That thing also crushes you. I think it's better if you move from one job to another versus if you are looking for a job, like, period. Now looking back, would I have quit cold turkey? Technically, I didn't, because when I completed my contract period, as an accountant, I immediately started teaching for a really low salary. And that's why my first point was money, because I thought I'm going to be happier being a teacher anyway, so the money doesn't matter. Trust me, the money mattered. Not like mattered like so, it mattered when you couldn't do things that you wanted to do in your happier state. Because I don't know how you feel, but if you're happier, you want to spend more money, you want to spoil yourself and do all these things, and I couldn't do any of that. And right around that time, I think my mental health, because I thought if I move from one job to the other, I'd feel better. And I didn't. I realized, or my mother realized, that maybe I needed like a professional. So we didn't go to a therapist together, but she's the one who pushed the whole idea for me to go see a therapist. At first, my mother is the one who covered the first initial costs. And then when I moved to this teaching job, I got on Discovery. And on Discovery, you can add mental health benefits, which will allow you to not pay for a certain amount of sessions per year. So that's what I did. And now, this year is my third year going to therapy consistently. And I thought it was going to be a 3 month thing. And now it's been 3 years. So I definitely think that I'm going to credit that as my third thing. Third thing is look and find help. I really thought that I could flip myself back to who I was, or the best version of myself that I could identify with. But it didn't quite happen that way. I think first when I went embarked on that journey, I thought it was going to be overnight, this is going to work, and then it didn't. And that's why I initially started going to therapy. Therapy was nothing like I had imagined, because I thought we were going to deal with the problem that I was facing now. But turned out that it was influenced by a lot of things from my childhood that I hadn't dealt with. And I think I'm glad that we took the longer route, because I have now I have an amazing relationship with my brother, who at some point I didn't have a relationship with him at all. And now I have a better relationship with my mom, and my mom is the love of my life. So there was just at some point where we just didn't like, anymore. And through therapy, I was able to break down to her how I felt and how I needed us to be now that we kind of like both adults. So my mom is a good um, nurturer of kids, but I don't. At the time, I felt like she was doing a bad job raising adults. Because you're an adult, but she still wants to treat you like a kid. It's not her fault. Maybe that's her inner childhood. That's what she wants. Because her mom died at a young age. She was already an adult, but yeah, her mom died a sudden death, and I think that she still desires that nurturing thing. So I'm glad that we took that route, because the relationship that I have with my mom right now is the best that it has ever been. Yes, there's a few hiccups here and there, but I handle it way better than I used to. I also have a way better relationship with my father, who can literally sucker punch you with his words. Like, he doesn't filter, and he always thinks that what he says is right. And I feel like if you're raising a sensitive person like me, you really have to mince your words. like, um, yeah, like I need that bit of mincing, because I just don't believe that you have to be truthful. I don't believe in that blunt truth thing, because sometimes I feel like it's designed to hurt. And why do you want to hurt me? Like, there's nothing. Like, do you understand? So yeah, I would say those are my top three things. Um, Four, I would say that definitely looking for something um, that is a challenge. I think that if you're depressed, you have no motivation, you have no outlook, like you have no hope, so to speak. So if you do something um, that challenges you again, and I think now that I'm like in the 30s, I feel like if you've been at your job for a while and you do the same thing every single day, it might kind of catch up with you to be like, hey, when's the last thing I did something different? Like you need that chase, that adventure thing in your life. And there's this amazing quote by relationship therapist. She always says it, and she says, anything that if two people are in a marriage or a long relationship, anything that could happen spontaneously has already happened. And I think that's the same with each individual person. Like when you're in university, you just get swept up by that experience. When you first start getting to work, you get swept up by that experience. Apartment hunting, it's what you're supposed to do during that time. But when that time passes, you kind of do the same thing over and over again, and there's nobody there's nobody who brings that new adventure in your life. Obviously, kids can bring that kind of adventure for the next 18 years, am I right? And then after that, you have to find it again. So, what are you doing for yourself um, that challenges you? Or what's the next level? That I think also that's why people chase promotions, like it's something new and exciting that they can do because life is long and you want to keep your interest, so to speak, in new and interesting things. And I think that's why I got into Fiverr. That's why I got into Upwork because I just needed to keep going. And I think that helped me to stay sharp and it helped me to discover new things about myself. And another thing is to look back to see all the things that you've overcome. Like if I have to look back now, 2019 was the worst year in terms of my depression. And that's the same year that we started my book club. And that book club saved my life, honestly. It really saved my life because it gave me something else to focus on that was not my depression. Um, and then, yeah, things started just getting better after that. I'm grateful for every part that I've gone through because it made me be able to handle whatever's happening right now. So, yeah, and I hope that by me sharing today, you will also find some sort of comfort or a way to dig yourself out of whatever hole that you might be feeling like you're in, if it applies to you. So, yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.